Happy hello everyone! Does praying and going to church make you happier? Well, much like religion itself, the answer is open to interpretation. Buckle up your Bible belts, people. Today we're searching for happiness from a higher power.
My name is Ryan Wingfield and my job is to make people happy. After years of doing stand-up comedy, I've devoted an entire year to the study of happiness. Join me each week right here on a Road Comics Road to Happiness.
Full disclosure before we begin, I am a practicing Catholic. That being said, I probably don't go to church as often as my mom wishes that I did. Let's just say I consider myself a casual Catholic with an open mind. The connection between religion and happiness is an idea going back so far, some could argue it is the reason why religion exists. For thousands of years, people have turned to faith at times of crisis. It has been a source of comfort to many, while at the same time, a source of boredom to children who have to sit through church. Whether religion makes you more or less happy is a matter of some debate, with religious people often saying yes, and non-religious people saying no. At the risk of oversimplifying a complicated issue, you could say that being religious does make you more happy, but being happy makes you less religious. Now, before you ironically crucify me, let me explain. It turns out countries which regularly rank among the happiest are also the least religious, whereas countries that rank among the saddest are the most religious. Now that doesn't mean that being religious makes you sad, but if you live in a terrible place, you may turn to religion as a form of comfort. Whereas if you live in a place that's awesome, what are you going to pray for? Other than for it to keep being awesome. So if being religious makes you happier, which religion makes you the happiest? Well, that probably depends on what part of the world you live in, but as far as here in the United States, a 2011 Gallup poll found that U.S. Jews ranked the highest on a well-being index. They were followed by people who identify themselves as atheists or agnostics. Catholics, Mormons, and other religions followed after that, with Protestants being the least happy group. It is worth noting, though, that the difference between the happiest and least happiest when it came to religious groups was only about 5 points out of a possible 100. It is worth noting in this study that over half of the U.S. Jews identified themselves as not very religious, as opposed to the highest religious group, which was Mormons, with 75% identifying themselves as very religious. Analysts say that in all groups, including atheists and agnostics, those who identify themselves as very religious were about 4 to 6 points higher on the happiness scale than their non-religious counterparts. They claim this means that religion is important to your happiness regardless of what that religion is, and being very religious is more important than what religion that is. Some psychologists disagree with this assessment, pointing out that in non-religious countries such as the Netherlands and Denmark, being religious does not make you more happy. They claim the comfort of religion is connected to the comfort of being in the majority as opposed to the stress of being in a minority. Like I said, it's open to interpretation. But regardless of the overall picture, there does seem to be ample evidence that being religious in a spiritual country, such as the United States, will make you happier. And not just happier. Being religious also is an indicator of a lower chance of drug abuse, lower suicide rate, and a better sex life. That's right, religious people claim to have more satisfaction in the bedroom. Probably because they can shout out, "Oh God!" as opposed to whatever atheists shout out. Nothing! So let's say you're not a spiritual person, but you would like to be happier. Does that mean you should go to your nearest church and sit in on a session or two? Well, only if you want to practice what they preach. It turns out when it comes to happiness, religion doesn't work half-ass, or at least not as well. Your personal beliefs have to have an impact on your character and your personal outlook. Almost all religions teach similar virtues about things like compassion, tolerance, honesty, and a deep respect for life. These are the same things that positive psychologists teach as character builders for people who want to be happier. As I mentioned last week, the prayers for these kind of virtues can be a form of meditation and a happiness workout. In addition, the community support that you get from religious groups can give you a feeling of fellowship and purpose, which are both very important to being happy. So do you need religion to be happy? No, of course not. Does it help? Yes. Probably. Maybe. It depends on you. I personally think religion is different for everyone. Even if you don't have an organized group, you probably have your own spirituality. And as long as you can embrace that in some way, you can probably find your own little happy miracle. That being said, stay away from Scientologists. Those people are crazy. Hey! That's all for this edition of A Road Comics Road to Happiness. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave any happy comments below. You heard me, Scientologists. Happy comments only. Next week, is there such a thing as wedded bliss? I'll be taking a look at the ups and downs of a married life. Until then, stay happy.